Thanks to Wild Country Outfitters for having the Prime Revolution team up here. My buddy Caleb's hunting a mule deer. Day one, or day half, or whatever you want to call it, but it's the first day, and so we're excited and looking forward to turning up a big buck here.
Yeah, Wild Country Outfitter, they're pure professional. You know, I've heard about this place for a long time, always wanted to come up here and hunt. It's easy to see why they have the reputation that they have and the quality deer that they have. It's first class all the way. These guys really know what they're doing.
The traditions of the outdoor sportsman are more important than ever, and it's up to us to pass them on to others. Two families, one passion. To inspire the next generation of ethical hunters and conservationists, continuing the legacy of hunting and fishing in the outdoors.
It's been a really good hunting season so far. Kind of long, lots of days in the field. We've had a deer hunt in Nevada leading up to coming here to Utah with Wild Country Outfitters. So hunted 12 days in Nevada out of a 15-day season. It took a little while to find a good buck over there. Had a mule deer hunt over there. Finally ended up, shooting a really great buck. Go home, regroup, repack. Excited to come here to Wild Country Outfitters here in Utah. The allure of where we are and being able to come here last year and hunt as well. I was super excited to get here. The drive over here isn't too bad from Reno. It's about 8.5, 9 hours, which really isn't that bad. Stopped in Ogden, saw our friend Aaron Van Workum from Muley Freak, and he had done all the legwork for us. We gave him all our information. We picked up our tags and showed up here at the lodge at Wild Country Outfitters and got ready to go out and do some work in the field.
I don't know where I'm supposed to go. I'm just waiting for somebody to point me in a direction.
I'm Caleb Wright. Me and Mike met back in 2015 on a hunting book with me in Azerbaijan. We've done several hunts together since then. Mexico, a couple trips down in Texas, some other stuff. So we've been just hit it off on that trip with Butch and Josh and those guys from Cryptech, and been friends ever since. So Mike's one of my closest friends now, so good buddy. Me and Mike both had mule deer tags, and Clint and Kelly had elk tags.
When we got here, we got with Tom. He's the outfitter here at Wild Country Outfitter. He's the boss man, so we got all our paperwork done, wrote our license number in the book, met our guide, and then we went to the rifle range, checked our zeros on our rifles. Okay, you good? It was just exciting to be here, That initial hey, we're in camp, you know, everybody's super excited, and a lot of the hard work hasn't begun yet. You're just ready to get out there in the field and start putting the boots to the rocks, and you know, your eyes behind the glass, and see what you can turn up. And this was day one, and then went out hunting for the afternoon. Saw a lot of deer on the first day. Hopes were high. And
yeah, no, when we got here, we were seeing some deer, not particularly the deer we wanted, but lots of younger bucks. Lots of guys in camp, kind of seeing the same thing. You know, we were seeing different classes of bucks. Just some were a little young, and some weren't quite the deer we were looking for. But overall, we've seen lots of deer, just not the right deer.
for me, I would like to touch on the conservation efforts that Wild Country Outfitters, the work that they put in for conservation as far as the units that they get to hunt here in Northeast Utah. They don't harvest any deer, elk, antelope, moose, any of the animals that they outfit here unless they're 5 years old or older. You know, they kill the older, mature deer, the elk, the antelope, moose, like I said, and it really shows in the quality of the animals that they take. I love what they do here for the simple fact that they let those younger deer pass on their genetics for future animals to get big and grow. And you know, if you shoot a young deer, he doesn't have that chance to pass his genetics on, or any of the other animals for that matter. So when you're shooting that younger class of animal, they don't get to grow up, they don't get to mature, and you don't get those big creatures that everybody likes to see walking around in the mountains. Everything's good, so now we're with Mort, and we're doing some glassing. Some of these high desert benches here. Hopefully we'll turn up a good buck this afternoon. Excited. The weather's beautiful. Not too cold. Just mid-40s, maybe low 50s. So we're gonna get back in the glass here and see if we can turn something up. So excited. Day one, or day half, or whatever you want to call it, but it's the first day, and so we're excited and looking forward to turning up a big buck here.
It was bitter cold last week. It was like 15 below zero, but it's been really nice this week. I think it's in the mid to high 20s in the mornings and warming up to, low 50s, high 40s. Midday is supposed to get up to around 60 today, so it's going to be pretty nice. Been clear skies, so it's been really, really nice. Cold, but nice. Cold for a Houston guy for sure. Been kind of slow, but good. We found a decent buck last night. We're right before dark, chasing some does on the hill right at last light, so we think we know where he's at. We're going to eat up over this hill behind the lodge. He's not very far from the lodge, and see if we can't find him with that doe again. They had video of a really good buck yesterday running some does that kind of got away from some other guys, and they ended up shooting a really nice deer later on in the morning. So if we can't find this one, we're going to go over there and try to check out that other buck and see what he looks like. And we're just waiting for it to get daylight here, since he's half a mile behind camp where we've seen him last. So let it get a little closer, a little better daylight, and go see what we can glass up and see if we can, do something with him.
Thanks to Wild Country Outfitters for having the Prime Revolution team up here. My buddy Caleb's hunting a mule deer somewhere around us close, I think. My partner Clint's hunting an elk, and our good friend and supporter, Kelly from Proof Research, she's hunting elk, so hopefully somebody has some success today.
We saw this buck in we're interested in him because he was 6.5 years of age, and that's the trophy deer they target here at Wild Country, you know, to base everything off of age. And we noticed he's a really heavy deer, kind of a tight frame buck, but very heavy. Carried his mass all the way out through his tips. Really unique deer, had a little inline flyer, which was neat, so definitely the deer we wanted to go after.
Caleb shot a giant, old, really heavy, mature 4-point. I think he had a little extra on him too, but man, what a beautiful deer. Just super heavy, old, white-faced deer. It was beautiful. Couldn't be more excited for him and happy for him. He's a really good guy, a really great friend of mine, so you know, props to Caleb on shooting a giant mule deer in Utah. So it was a beautiful deer, so happy for him.
They caught the buck that I ended up shooting, got him on video the day before we seen him, and we actually saw him the night before I shot him right at dark, his skyline, and we noticed he was a good 4x4 buck and really heavy, so we made a plan to go after him the next morning, and we were lucky enough to find him right at daylight. And the following morning, he was pretty much in the same spot, you know, running some does. So.
Yep, gonna go chase some elk. And I even brought my backpack just in case he kills one. I can act like I'm gonna help pack it out.
We saw you this morning, right?
Yeah.
When we were glassing, you passed us.
Yeah, we had actually spotted y'all on the road looking back the other way for elk, and we had spotted the deer kind of past you guys about a mile. And
It's a beautiful buck, man.
yeah, no, I'm
If
happy.
he just stepped out in front of me, I'd have shot him today.
Yeah,
For sure. Super heavy, lots of mass.
he's a pretty deer, white face. They're
It's mature.
oh yeah,
Mature
rutted
buck.
up. Got a big
Definitely
neck,
older than a 5-year-old deer. I
Mhm.
mean, he's an older deer.
for sure.
So they're rutting then?
Oh yeah, he was all swole up and he was chasing hard.
I've had a couple guys say that they're watching some bucks ready to roll and some bucks that don't care. So we're definitely catching on the early side.
Yeah.
So-
I honestly think it's kind of like the pre-rut, because we saw a couple
Yeah.
deer yesterday that were like, I mean, they were ready to go. Big old necks all swollen, and
Yeah, he had his big old neck.
another big 3-point, and he could care less, dude. He was just
Yep.
like, whatever. I'm gonna do my thing over here.
See you in a week.
Yeah, see you in a week. You know, so
And then we're hunting, and if one of the elk hear a cow call, they run to the next county.
yeah,
So
yeah.
Yeah, they're done for
The
the
elk
year.
rut's definitely over.
it's definitely over.
Well, congrats again,
Yeah,
brother.
thanks,
That's
brother.
awesome.
I
man.
appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Good time.
It's a beautiful
As
deer.
always.
You know, the landscape here in northeast Utah is kind of like the high desert in Nevada. Anywhere from, you know, high mountain peaks, you got some juniper trees and quakies and some pines, all the way down to the lower desert plateaus, tall sagebrush and bitterbrush and some buckbrush. And so, I mean, it's really no different than hunting my home state of Nevada as far as the landscape looks. You know, I kind of feel right at home when I come here. It's my favorite, you know, favorite kind of country to hunt. So, especially when I'm chasing a big mule deer. Kind of getting a little frustrated, you know, day 4 of a 5-day hunt. So, you know, it's been a little rough on finding a good buck with all the hunters here in camp, just because of, you know, the winter that Utah suffered last year. They had a really bad winter. We were in a different area. You know, we kind of had a little pressure on us, not a lot, but my guide Mort, he was a little frustrated. We were a little frustrated. So he said, hey, let's get out of here and go to a different spot. And we kind of stopped on a corner just to look to see if we, you know, he said, we always see deer in here. Let's just stop and glass for a minute before we take off. And he spotted a doe feeding in front of a big quaky patch, and then spotted a buck laying down. after further review, I guess we looked the buck over, and he's a really nice 180-inch type 4-point. So, we got out, decided we were going to go after this buck.
Yeah, she's working to the left, but he's just laying there.
Walked down the ridge a little bit, got to a flat spot where we could see where the buck was, and I could get in the prone position to make a good shot. And
okay, I see. Walking now.
Ready?
my guide buddy Mort says, let's go back to a different spot. We'll get off this hill. And he just happened to glass up a couple deer down in these Quakies, a couple does, and he's like, oh, hey, that looks like a good buck. And he goes, hey, wait, that's the buck we've been looking for. So kind of walked down the hill to a little bench, and I couldn't see very well from where we were. So we kind of got into a position where I could get prone and get the RMP on target. Dialed the vortex up to where I needed to be, 576 yards, and let the proof barrel 28 nozzler do its work. And it did. He went about 15, 20 yards and piled up. Yeah, super happy with the shot, super stoked and excited with this deer. He's a beautiful buck. Can't thank Wild Country Outfitters enough, and getting to spend the week with Mort. It's the cool thing about hunting. You get to go new places and meet new people, and sometimes you walk away really good friends, and that's how I feel about Mort. He's been an awesome guy all week, and we'll stay in touch for a lifetime now, because he's a hell of a man, and I appreciate all the hard work he put in to finding this buck, and we found him and we got him on the ground this morning. So couldn't be more excited and stoked and happy, and all those emotions that go through when you finally get to your animal.
Yeah, Wild Country out there, they're pure professional. I've heard about this place for a long time. Always wanted to come up here and hunt. They run, it's easy to see why they have the reputation that they have. It's first class all the way. These guys really know what they're doing. Like I say, I 100% understand how they got the reputation and the quality deer that they have.
Another one in him. Perfect shot. Another one in him. Hang on. Watch his head. Okay, right there. There he goes.
Good shooting, Joey. 2 perfect shots on him. The first one probably would have done it, but
Gotta make sure.
yeah, they're still standing. He put
Thanks,
it down.
Trev.
Yeah, good job.
Thank you. State of Nevada, great elk. I was fortunate enough to acquire this elk tag, and unfortunately, I had sports, football, keep me from getting up here, as soon as I'd like to. So with a couple days left, coming up here kind of in a rush, and then getting to shoot a great, mature Nevada bull. Couldn't be any happier with the help of Trevor and Chuck Marks at Bull Ridge Guide Service.